Hello everyone, and welcome to the 2014 North American Indigenous Games Final Daily Wrap-Up Show. Filling in for Roger Ross, I'm Jerome Laforgue, co-hosting with Lachlan Nuttall.
Thanks, Jerome. Coming to you from Regina, Saskatchewan, this past week we've brought you highlight coverage of the games and introduced you to special guests from the daily excitement of NAIG, right here on Access 7 and Access 70 in HD. Tonight, stay tuned with us through this final show and we'll reveal the final medal standings at the end of the broadcast.
And as we lead up to the final results and the closing ceremonies, we will fill you in on the top stories of the day.
Well, Day 5's events were archery, athletics, badminton, baseball, golf, lacrosse, soccer, volleyball, swimming, and softball. Now, here are some of the highlights.
British Columbia's under-19 softball girls have been a cohesive force all week. The team has built momentum off several dominant victories, including a 17-0 win against Nova Scotia. BC supremacy was challenged by Team Ontario, who went into Day 5 undefeated in this event. When both teams clashed, British Columbia narrowly came out on top with a score of 10-8. British Columbia moved on to the gold medal game, as did Wisconsin, who wanted to avenge a previous defeat at the hands of BC. Wisconsin's efforts were unsuccessful, however, as BC took the game and the gold medal in a 10-0 victory. Ontario's under-16 softball girls team went into the semifinals with a series of slanted victories. They defeated Alberta 6-1 and scored an unprecedented 26-0 win against Eastern Door in the North on Day 4. Meanwhile, after a stinging Day 3 loss to British Columbia, Saskatchewan came back with a 7-2 win against Wisconsin. Continuing with their momentum, Saskatchewan tore into Manitoba with a 12-2 victory. Ontario was poised to keep pushing into the finals, however. On Day 5, Ontario met Saskatchewan on the field, but lost 1-6. Saskatchewan advanced to the gold medal game, while Ontario is set to play for bronze. British Columbia was likewise impressive on Day 3 with a 9-1 victory against Saskatchewan and an 11-0 win against Team Manitoba. BC went into the semifinals on Day 5 and trounced Alberta 16-1. Alberta will meet Ontario for the bronze, while British Columbia and Saskatchewan will clash for one final time for the gold medal. BC may have shone the brightest in rifle shooting, however. In the overall rankings for under-16 rifle shooting girls division, Paige Russell took the gold, while Sunshine O'Donovan won bronze. Silver was taken by Saskatchewan's own Haley McCallum-Natauhau. BC's Matthew Breton and Mark Roberts took the gold and silver medals for under-16 overall rifle shooting boys. New Brunswick's Hunter Pulchise took the bronze. David Paul Henry Knockwood was a dark horse in the under-19 overall rifle shooting boys. Knockwood won gold, while BC added 2 medals to their tally when Sean DeVoren won silver and Thomas Manuel Hanaus won bronze. Finally, an unexpected winner took the gold for under-19 overall rifle shooting girls. Connecticut's Cassandra Meehan was the decisive winner, shooting a full 100 meters ahead of silver medal winner Shadunian Maria Bernadette Van Kampen of the Northwest Territories. Davida Mary Patterson took bronze for the Territories. While their rifle shooting team won several medals, BC's Riley Mitchell-Michael took a decisive gold in the under-16 triple jump. Daniel Melanson took silver for the Northwest Territories, and Ontario's Jared Hunter left with bronze. The Northwest Territories also left with medals in under-19 high jump boys. Kel Crook took silver, and Dallas Roche took the bronze. Newfoundland and Labrador's Donovan White was far ahead of the pack with a 1.80 meter jump, while Crook and Roche followed with 1.66 meter jumps. Finally, Saskatchewan shone in under-16 shot put. Shayna Ranier took bronze, Manitoba's Emily Huntinghawk won silver, and Courtney Thrun won a decisive gold medal for Saskatchewan.
Now, let's check out all the Saskatchewan gold medal winners for the day.
In athletics, winning 2 golds on day 5 was Mackenzie Yole for the 150-meter 14 race and for high jump. Also taking 2 golds was Calvin Napope. He won for the 150-meter under 14 male division race and also struck gold in discus. Grabbing gold for the 200-meter under 16 male division was Landon Saskamoose. Courtney Thrun took under 16 female triple jump, and Kiana Duroche leaped to the top of the podium for the under 19 division. Quade Robinson secured gold for the under 19 male division high jump. Alexander Sear took gold in the under 16 male shot put. And in discus, the under 19 female gold medalist was Lenore Lachance. In the under 19 category, Kiefer Paul had the supreme throw, and moving to badminton, Megan Farrell took 3 gold medals. 1 for the under 16 singles division, and 1 for doubles with Santana Cheyenne Bill, and finally for the mixed category with Darian Sunshine. Darian Sunshine won another gold in doubles male under 16 with Curtis Halkett. Josh Thomas grabbed the gold for under 19 male singles, and in under 19 male doubles, he captured another gold with Ward Harris. Badminton doubles under 19 mix saw Joshua Thomas capture his 3rd gold medal for the day with Haley Sunshine. In the 400-meter relay races, Team Saskatchewan captured gold for the under 14 male and female divisions, as well as the under 16 female and the under 19 male categories. Saskatchewan also struck gold in the under 16 male softball finals.
Earlier, Roger Ross and I had the opportunity to chat with a 5-time gold medal winner in canoe kayaking. Next, we bring you her player profile interview.
Player Profiles. Sponsored by Custom Creations. Vehicle accessories for your lifestyle.
And joining us in the studio today is Guawanahawi Diabo from Team Eastern Door in the North. She's the winner of 6 gold medals, 3 in canoeing and 3 in kayaking. And she joins us here to tell us about being here in Regina and winning all that gold.
So, how's it feel?
It feels pretty good. I didn't expect to have all gold in my races, but it's really nice. It was a good turnout.
So what races did you win these in?
3 of them are from kayak, 3 of them are from canoeing, the K1, 200 meters, 1,000 meters, and 3,000 meters, and canoe single for 1,000 meters, double for 1,000 meters, and single for 6,000 meters.
So you were mentioning earlier that there was a time issue with...
Oh, yes. I checked my partner and I's time from the double to 1,000 meters, and we beat the boys by 10 seconds.
That's pretty good. So we'll have to talk to the boys about handing over their medals.
Yeah.
So how's your experience at NAIG so far?
It's really nice. I like to be here and meet new people and other, native people who are interested in the same things I am, paddling. And there's not many back where I live who paddle, so it's nice.
Yeah. So, well, speaking of where you live, can you just tell us a little bit about where you're from and how you kind of got into this? Because
I'm from Kahnawake. It's a small community right outside of Montreal. I got into paddling because my brother started paddling, and when I was a kid, I used to want to do everything that he did, and he joined paddling, so I wanted to, and I just fell in love with the sport, and I stuck with it.
So how long has that been that you've been...
This summer is my 12th year. I started when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Did you have a training regimen that you had to go through before you got to the competitions back home to get to NAIG?
Yeah, well, I mostly focus on kayak, sprint kayaking, and it's a lot of work. We train for that more. We underwater a few times, and we do a land training also in the gym with weights or cardio, and this came up, and it was my last chance to come. I'll be too old after, so I took it.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
What do you have planned for after? Since, I mean, you're at that, the the age limit for NAIG. Are you planning on moving ahead on something else, or?
Well, I'm going to keep training, definitely. I'm going to keep paddling. I don't plan on stopping. Hopefully I get to go to, more bigger races, better, with people from all over the place.
Mm-hmm. What do you got scoped out?
Sorry?
What do you got scoped out for the future? Do you have?
Well, I'm hoping that maybe one day I can make it to the Olympics for kayaking. That's my long-term goal. For now, I'm just going to keep trying to improve and get faster and stronger and keep up with the older girls from around other clubs.
Okay. So I guess just the last question is just what would you tell people about being at NAIG?
I would say it's a really nice experience. It's nice to see it, like I said, to all the different people from all over, different Native people, and to make new friends, and everyone's here for the same thing, and it's nice.
All right. Well, congratulations. Congratulations. It's great to see people accomplishing this.
This thank you.
It's an amazing feat. Congratulations.
Thanks
for being with us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Player Profiles. Sponsored by Custom Creations. Vehicle accessories for your lifestyle.
Very impressive. The connection between Aboriginal athletes and archery is an easy one to make. For many of our ancestors, it was less of a sport and more of a way of putting food on the table. Here at NAIG, many young athletes are keeping the traditional archery alive. Tom Fenario has that story.
The skill set of a good archer is hard to teach. Steady hands, acute concentration, excellent eyesight, and perhaps most importantly, a tranquil state of mind.
It's a thing that you've got to just relax and hope that you hit the target.
Most archers take a moment before shooting, catch their breath, judge their distance, and then release. Levi Stoneman is different. He just likes to let them fly.
I shoot, I don't think about anything. I kind of mess up if I hold it. It's just how I shoot.
Levi is different in more ways than one. He's 12 years old, shooting in the under 19 age bracket. So how does a 12-year-old end up shooting with archers 4 to 7 years older?
Actually don't know.
His coaches know why. He scored higher than anyone in the Yukon tryouts. It's also impressive that Levi shoots a traditional recurved bow.
They use traditional, so there's no sights or any mechanical things released with, so they just got to look and shoot. It's all instinct.
People who shoot traditional tend to be purists when it comes to archery. For them, it's more than just a sport.
Our grandfathers used to shoot just a wooden bow. It's a sport that has come from our ancestors. Let's keep it alive. And so it'll carry on.
The future of traditional archery looks to be in good hands with youngsters like Levi Stoneman. He was the only shooter in his group to score a bullseye yesterday.
Is that right? That's great.
Yeah.
Shows he's learning, maybe listening. When they do good, it's like being a brand new papa in the waiting corner. You can hardly talk and you're so anxious to see him.
Tom Fenario, APTN National News, Regina.
Next, 1 month before the games kicked off here, the host society was forced to cancel all swimming events from the competition due to a lack of certified officials. APTN's Larissa Burnoff brings us a story of how the teams involved came together to make sure the athletes could compete.
A lot of hard work goes into training for any sport, including swimming. And even more hard work went into ensuring the swimming event would take place after it was canceled by the NAIG Host Society last month.
The host society felt like they weren't in a position to be able to deliver the event. So a number of teams stepped up and came together, pooled their money and resources and expertise to help deliver the competition.
Team BC stepped up with the help of the Northwest Territories and Ontario after NAIG announced that it didn't have enough certified officials.
We flew in 4 officials from British Columbia and paired them up with a number of volunteers from across other provinces and states. We've trained them, and we've accredited a whole group of new officials that are now helping deliver this event.
Wangadis Augustine is one of those newly trained volunteer officials who went through 2 days of training prior to the competition. He says for Team Nova Scotia, it was hard to hear that the event was cancelled.
Oh my God, it's been such a journey. Like when we found out first time that it wasn't going to happen, we were like, oh no, what are we going to do? Like they've been training so hard.
Swimming is especially important for Team Nova Scotia and Chief Leroy Denny.
For the past 10 years, our community in Eskazoni has been really pushing swimming back home.
Yeah.
And mainly it all started the lifeguard, like in Eskazoni and in our surrounding communities, we have lots of water, lots of rivers, lots of lakes, and there are a lot of drownings in our communities, right? And so we decided to start a learn to swim program, lifeguard program.
Nearly 100 athletes almost lost the opportunity to even compete at NAIG this year, but thankfully to their parents and the volunteers who stepped up, they were given the opportunity to go for gold.
I think what you've seen is a number of teams that just really passionate, wanting to make sure that these outstanding athletes had the opportunity to compete. So we came together, worked as an extended family across provincial and state boundaries to deliver an event.
The kids are happy and they just want to swim, they want to compete, the sport they love.
Every single one of the kids are absolutely grateful. They're just so full of energy and they're smiling, they're having a good time. They're being able to meet multiple people from different communities all over the country, and and it's just been such a great event.
Team Nova Scotia collected more than 20 medals and we're collecting more. Larissa Burnoff, APTN National News, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Team Nunavut brought 80 of their athletes from their vast territory, which is the largest in Canada. With many of its communities being isolated, it wasn't always easy to get the athletes together to practice. Natanis Payapok got a chance to speak to one of the athletes who traveled from the highest point of the Arctic to compete in the Games.
It's the first time Team Nunavut is bringing athletes to compete in team sports to the North American Indigenous Games. Traditionally, they have just played individual sports, but this year they have volleyball, basketball, and badminton teams. The coaches and players have worked long and hard just traveling from the north to get here.
It's been challenging. We have a lot of kids spread out across the territory. The cost of travel and the logistics of travel is the biggest issue of getting our team together.
One player from Team Nunavut came all the way from Greece Fjord to compete.
In Greece, it's the most northern community in North America. There's about 120 people or less. So it's very small, and 2 people are playing in the games.
And bringing in players like Jaco to the games can be expensive and time-consuming.
He only has 2 days of travel in and out of his community, so if you don't catch the flight on the right day, then he's got to connect and overnight in other communities in order to make connections for the later days. So it's his whole travel is going to be almost 3 weeks by the end of the event, by the time he gets home.
The youth spent 2 weeks in Ontario before the games practicing, so they would be able to get to know each other better and grow stronger as a team.
The biggest challenge with the communities is just the isolation, I think. The inability to interact with other kids, other communities, other youth, other family from other towns. That's a struggle for a lot of the kids, and any of these opportunities we have to get kids out is a lifetime opportunity for most of the kids.
And for players like Jaco, being one of the 2 competitors from his small community is well worth the time away from home.
For a small town, it's pretty big, and I'm in the playoffs for all 3 games, singles, mixed, and doubles. And my parents have been calling me. They've been checking their results online. They've been really proud.
Natanis Payapok, APTN National News, Regina.
The Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, Bernard Valcourt, had a chance to tour the NAIG grounds. Michael Hinchinson of APTN tagged along.
The tour started on the grounds of the First Nations University of Canada, where the minister spoke to a number of the elders and cultural ambassadors within the teepees. Ron Crow, CEO of the NAIG Games, was the minister's tour guide, and he explained the importance of volunteers in putting on such a large event. Now, you've just had a tour of the cultural village and the university here. What do you think?
I think this is tremendous. This is just, super. I mean, the visitors have a chance to see firsthand the richness of the First Nations culture and heritage to this country, and yet we even have some from the States, so it's really something to see.
Have you had a chance to meet any of the athletes? What do you think of the NAIG Games overall?
Listen, I mean, this is an endeavor which has got to be lauded. I mean, when you succeed into bringing so many volunteers to help the committee and the organization put this up here in Canada, in Saskatchewan, with athletes from all over North America, this is quite an achievement. And what impresses me is the location. We are on the site of the university, and all these kids, who are the future leaders of tomorrow in all of our communities across the country, well, they get the way in, which is education.
Looking back, Wanique Horn-Miller caught up with Chief Wilton Littlechild to discuss how he helped start the Games 24 years ago. Looking ahead, they also give a glimpse towards the inaugural World Indigenous Games, which take place next year in Brazil.
The North American Indigenous Games is 24 years old, and the beginning of these games was a lot of work by a lot of very hardworking and passionate people in sport. And here we have Wilton Littlechild. He is a member of the IOC. He is a sport founder in Canada, among many other things. And I wanted to ask you a couple questions, Wilton, and welcome.
Thank you very much.
I wanted to ask you, here you are in Regina. You are here experiencing these games, and how does it feel to be here?
Well, it's always very exhilarating to be here, to experience the games every time they happen. So there's never a dull moment. So it's really exciting to see all the young people in terms of the energy that they're displaying, the athletic ability that they're displaying, the cultural knowledge they're displaying. So, yeah, it's very exciting.
So you were a competitor. I remember competing with you at these games in swimming. You have had a vision for sport in Canada. I know that on top of the North American Indigenous Games, you have been the creator of something else called the World Indigenous Games. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, actually, the original purpose of the World Indigenous Games was to show off our contribution to the world, really, in terms of culture and our traditional games. But in order to do that, we had to start regionally. We had to start, for example, at the North American Games. The Brazilian Games were held. The Arctic Winter Games developed. The games in Russia have developed. So now they're all going to culminate in the original motion that I made in Sweden in 1977 to have World Indigenous Games. So next year, Brazil will be hosting the first Indigenous Games. So hopefully many of the athletes that are here, the cultural participants that are here, will be able to make their way to Brazil, to the World Games.
So here we're standing in the Cultural Village, and you've always been a big proponent and advocate for Indigenous rights. What role do you think that culture plays in the development of a high-performance athlete?
Well, actually, when one looks at the discipline or self-esteem, which is sort of the foundation of an individual's strength, whether it's business or education, and certainly in sport, culture has a very significant role because of the pride to be able to say, I'm proud to be Cree and I've been able to compete at the world level, or I've been able to compete like you at the Olympic Games. Be proud of who you are in terms of the culture. The cultural strength is really what's coming forward, I think, in the Indigenous Games. In fact, from a rights perspective, I think the very foundation of Indigenous rights, one of the pillars of Indigenous rights, is our culture. So, and the richness of the culture, of course, is manifested through our traditional games and through our sports. So, yeah, it's sort of a hand in glove in the same thing, that the sport and the culture go together.
Well, I personally want to thank you as having been a participant of these games. I want to thank you for all your passion, and I look forward to seeing where that passion develops in these World Indigenous Games next year. So thank you very much, Wilton.
Thank you.
And to round up the week, here is the last look at some featured faces from the games.
Hello, my name is Britton Swampy. I am from from Manitoba, Pasqua Cree Nation, and I'm here to watch my brother Britty Swampy playing for Team Manitoba in soccer.
Hello, my name is Shiloh Chief. I'm here at the North American Indigenous Games. I'm a volunteer. I'm from Munistikwan Island Lake up in northern Saskatchewan. And yeah, it's been a blast. Got to meet a lot of interesting people from all places.
Hello, so I'm from France and I'm here in the Indigenous Games and it's great. Everyone are very cool and friendly. I don't know what I'm supposed to say, but it's great and vive la France!
My sister and I are here in Regina watching a couple of grandchildren that we have playing the different sports. There's so many venues that are here in Regina. Everything is just so exciting.
Hi, my name is Cheyenne Jones. I am here representing Team Ontario for the U14 basketball. We recently won silver, and I'm really enjoying my time here at the University of Saskatchewan. It's a nice place and having lots of fun. There's lots of stuff to do here.
Hello, I'm Darius Andre. I'm here for canoeing. I'm from Team NWT. I'm 14. I competed in events for 3 days, and I had 6 races altogether and came out with 4 gold. And it was fun representing my team, our NWT. It was fun getting all these interviews. I had about 11 in the past 3 days. But yeah, it was fun and 4 gold, and it's pretty good.
And that's our final show from NAIG 2014. It's been great being your host here on Access Channel 7 and Channel 70 in HD. Tomorrow we'll be bringing you the best of North American Indigenous Games between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. Stand by for the big news, a live update on the final count on medal standings, and thanks for joining us today. It's been an exciting week, and thanks for stepping in, Jerome, and salut. Monton là-bas.
And goodbye, au revoir, bye-bye, monton là-bas.
Ah!